Hello again, Timeless Gamer crew. On to my second run and gun choice. We're going to go with STRYKE'S RUN for the BBC Micro. It was released in 1986, and it was developed by Superior Software. Now, if you know anything about the BBC Micro, Superior Software were the boys. They were the Mac Daddies. They developed some banging games, some great games, all kinds of genres. You had famous games like Citadel, which the likes of Metroid copied, and they just tried a load of different things, and pretty much everyone were top dollar. STRYKE'S RUN was their main foray into run and guns. It got a sequel, codenamed Droid, STRYKE'S RUN 2. But that was more of a Metroidvania game again, where they combined what they learned here from what they implemented in Citadel. So STRYKE'S RUN itself, I mean, it's not that good a game, to be honest. The Contra Hard Corps, which I mentioned, is still amazing today. That Contra Hard Corps would be in my top 10 games of all time today still, after playing 30 odd years of games, 40 odd years of games now, whatever. Easily it would be in there. But STRYKE'S RUN, it's dated, and it is a dated game. It's not a it's a very slow, ponderous, basic run and gun games that I would recommend people to check out for the historical value. And it's a game that it can be played pretty easily and shortly. But it's not ever going to feature in a top 10 of mine, or a top, even probably a top 100, top 200 of mine, to be honest. But I'm very nostalgically attached to it. This really was at a time when run and guns weren't that common on home systems. STRYKE'S RUN was my first real home-based run and gun experience, and it was really impressive graphically, but it did a few things that you didn't expect it to do. One of the big things that it allows you to do is to travel in vehicles. You can travel in various like helicopters and spaceships, and it adds a real great dynamic to the play. And it was just such a joy to go on this journey. It did feel like a run. It was obviously inspired by Logan's Run, and it was a game that offered a BBC player something, a more arcadey experience. BBC Micro games, there were some arcadey games on there, definitely, but they tended to try and put, there were more of that type of Metroidvania style game. You had the likes of Repton and a Devil's Causeway and Plan B, that were the structures of the games, because the graphics and the memory and that was so limited. The game structure is where generally the value of the game lies, and they couldn't blow you away with playability and arcade wow. A lot of arcade games, and when they made Sega Mega Drive and Master System and that came along, it felt good. You were satisfying to blow things up, and it had that impact to everything. Whereas your BBC Micro just didn't have that. It was, it was like, as you'll see from this, STRYKE'S RUN was a very, just a steady game, as steady as a run and gun you can get. But it is, for me, just a really nostalgic game. It just was something really cool and just always stuck with me. Really, it felt badass. It felt really badass. And like I say, we were a 1986 game, so there weren't that many run and guns that were on home systems at the time. So STRYKE'S RUN, it's like I say, it's a game. I like to pick, when we're doing these when we're doing these shows, I like to pick games that if somebody goes and plays now, like Contra Hard Corps, they will have a cracking time. I mean, if you can get past the initial difficulty by a Contra Hard Corps, you've got a timeless 10 out of 10 game there. Whereas STRYKE'S RUN, you won't. you'll just have a laugh with it. But it's definitely just worth checking out just to see what microcomputer and arcade style games are like. So that's my little recommendation for you to check out. Keep your gaming timeless.